Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, this is Peter Joseph, and you're listening to V Radio.
All right, hello, folks. This is another quick and impromptu edition of V Radio. Basically, there seems to be a tradition that every time I'm getting ready to go leave for the weekend, some stupid thing comes up. But in any case, this is just no exception. Basically, what I'm seeing is that because there were some disagreements between Peter Joseph and the Venus Project, there are people that are speculating on the future of the Zeitgeist Movement. And I'm just getting a little bit tired of people like participating in the hysteria. You know, we have the same YouTube trolls as always, people like Mario and James Koosh and all that, who are capitalizing on this and trying to say that it's the end of the Zeitgeist Movement. So I wrote a blog about this, which you can read at v-radio.org by clicking blog. And I'm going to go ahead and read it to you here. It's not that long, but it's entitled "The Zeitgeist Movement is Not Going Anywhere." Seriously, people, calm down. Let me go ahead and pull this up. I want to make sure I open the chat room. See if anybody's in there. Oh, wow, a lot of people are in there. Hello, folks. Welcome to V Radio. Okay. Basically, one of the reasons I wanted to do a show segment about this is I wanted to get this information out to as many people as possible because I'm getting a little bit tired of there just being more hysteria and not more rational thinking about the topic. But I'm going to go ahead and read the blog. Recently, there have been some disagreements between Peter Joseph and the Venus Project, and now my research on the troll documentary gets more data in the form of all of the people spreading hysteria that this will mean the movement will somehow fold. I'm going to be blunt about this. This, quite simply, is nonsense. Peter Joseph helped the movement a great deal with research, making great movies, and providing some good guidance, but he was not even involved with the vast majority of the day-to-day work of the movement. He rarely attended meetings and does not generally get involved with any of the working aspects of the movement itself. The chapter coordinators, moderators, etc. handled all of that. And while this obviously means that there won't be any more films coming from Peter about the Venus Project, it does not suddenly mean the sky is falling. Virtually every function of the movement was already being run by other people. Peter has stated that he will continue to fund the global movement's work, which is highly generous. He's not leaving the movement. He is just stepping back from any form of spokesman role. This does not by any means mean that he is no longer an activist for this direction. But the newsletter, chapter coordination, etc. was already being handled by other people anyway, and those people did not suddenly cease to exist. Peter has never been the leader, despite propaganda to the contrary, and everything I point out above was part of that. He would share his views just like everyone else. He, of course, did have some authority over the website that he pays for and administrates, but it's not like he called up every chapter coordinator and gave them directions or orders. It's not like he wrote every single newsletter article. It's not like he did all of the planning and the speaking. He was already asking us to step up more as he was going to be backing away before any of this recent controversy. If you guys remember, in some of his latest broadcasts, he stated that he was going to be doing that, and that he wanted to see more people push forward and do more of the work. The funny thing is, he wasn't really doing a lot of it anyway. But anyway, he was going to be backing away before any of this, and that's because he needs to. He needs and deserves a break. And the reality is that if Peter stopped doing anything in the movement for a whole month, the average member of the movement would not even notice. You know why? Because Peter Joseph was not the movement. So much work is actually done by other people behind the scenes. I'm asking people to stop contributing to the hysteria. Stop posting links to these troll videos. They're having quite a laugh at our expense, and you're giving them a reward. If you people do post these videos, then explain, or if somebody does, post one of these videos, please explain to them that this is not the end of the Zeitgeist Movement. Share this blog post with them. Right now, the trolls are trying to cause a panic in the movement. It is important that people understand that the movement is not going anywhere. So Peter backs away for a while. Does this mean that suddenly everyone who saw his film doesn't feel the RPE is the best solution? Obviously not. I absolutely appreciate everything Peter has done, and will continue to support his work. I look forward to his upcoming film about the impact of war. I've heard the website is down. If you guys want to talk about this stuff, my forums are still open at v-radio.org. And yes, I'm still doing broadcasts. And yes, when you wake up tomorrow, there will still be a Zeitgeist Movement, I assure you. And now, it's important to note in context here that I'm not saying that Peter did nothing. He did oodles of work, ridiculous amounts of work goes into making those movies. But the point is that he was already not in any kind of central decision-making role anyway. He had authority over a few specific issues, but as far as like the day-to-day workings of the movement, decision-making in chapters, things of that nature, is all done by the people in general. We just made a decision about something major recently, about the addition of a women's group. I didn't even necessarily agree with the way it went down, but the point is that Peter was not involved in that decision at all. And that's a major decision. Okay? And that's an example of how things get done here all the time. So the point is that despite the propaganda, Peter was never really the leader of the movement. He was a guide. He was a strong, proponent, obviously, and he was one of the spokespeople, the faces, so to speak. And that's because he was good at articulating this movement's direction. That's just the way it is. At the end of the day, the Venus Project did want some more authority over the direction, so that's why we are where we are. And you can expect to see then more out of Jock and Roxanne, and that's just the way it is. But I also don't really like that some people are taking this as an opportunity to diss Peter Joseph, because none of you would even be here. That's the facts, folks. None of you would even be here. Maybe, there might be a tiny minority of people who knew about the Venus Project before this all started, but the reality is Zeitgeist Addendum. That's why we're here. Peter Joseph's work. Peter Joseph's reputation. Peter Joseph is what got us started here. Now, it's Jock's work, and I absolutely credit him with that, obviously. I mean, this is V Radio. And I'm going to continue doing what I was doing for the Venus Project anyway. None of this really changes anything for me. I'm also going to continue to promote Peter's work. The point, though, is that it's important to give credit where credit is due, and it's also important that people recognize that this is Jock Fresco's work, and that's absolutely awesome and great, and he deserves all the credit for it. He worked on it all of his life. But on the same token, folks, we cannot just turn our back on the fact that Peter has done everything that he has done for us. And even the Venus Project would agree with that. So I'm just asking you folks to think very heavily about this, because one of the things that's going on here I'm noticing is the trolls are basically taking this, little wound, and then they're, poking it with the stick and, to try to make it worse. And people are participating in that. Put on your critical thinking skills, folks, because right now people are trying to manipulate you into thinking that the sky is falling. The sky is falling. It's not. The reality is, as I said at the end of the blog, when you wake up tomorrow, there's still going to be a Zeitgeist Movement. As for the future of V Radio, this doesn't really change anything for me. I'm going to continue to do the shows I've been doing. Unless everybody's interest in is sustainable technologies, behavioral studies, studies on the monetary system, filmmakers who make good documentaries just suddenly ended, there would be no reason for me to stop doing V Radio. And so basically, this to let people know, because people have been emailing me too, and they're panic. V, you're not going to stop doing V Radio, are you? And no, I did V Radio before I discovered the Zeitgeist Movement. I'm going to continue to do the V Radio no matter what happens. If the Venus Project became capitalist tomorrow, there'd still be a V Radio. I probably wouldn't be speaking too highly of them, but there would still be a V Radio. Mind you, the likelihood of Jock and Roxanne ever becoming capitalist is pretty, well, unlikely. And that's just the way it is. I'm an activist on the internet. I work for you, and that's the way it is. Sorry, folks, got another PM. Basically, guys, that was pretty much it. I'm going to look at the chat room here real quick. Just do me a favor and spread the link to this show. Spread the link to the blog, because I'm getting really freaking tired of the fact that you guys are spreading the bullshit that the trolls have put together, but you're not spreading any of the positive points here. This is essentially people trying to pull the wool over your eyes. Critically think, okay? Because right now, there are people that are trying to exploit this. Don't let them. This is actually kind of the proof. The reality is there, So, let me see. I'm going to look here in the chat room. Do you think we could create a show soon about this recent event, preferably with both Jock Fresco and Peter Joseph? I don't know. I know I'm going to have the Venus Project on soon to talk about the film. Savage Khan is saying the website is not down. The naked domain redirect is not set up. You must include www. Okay, thank you for that information. That's another thing, folks. Is just because you see the website go down or there's a problem with it, that's not uncommon. Peter had made it very clear that he's going to continue to fund the fund the Zeitgeist Movement on the global level anyway. So it's not going anywhere. He still cares about all this direction. His involvement with this was not dependent on any position with the Venus Project. So basically, it's important, folks, that everybody come together and just continue doing what we're doing. You know, if everybody just gets past the hysteria, chapter meetings aren't going to stop happening. You know, why would they? People are going to continue contributing on the forums and giving links and, oh, wait, you know, doing everything we were doing anyway. Like, that's what I said, folks. Think about it. How much work, as far as the specific workings of the movement itself, did Peter do? Not really that much. Not because he didn't contribute. His contribution was the films and a lot of the interviews and all of that stuff. But as far as the movement's concerned, he was never really directly involved in most of the decision-making. That's it. That's the truth of it. That's always been the truth of it. And that's why when you hear trolls say stuff like, well, Peter Joseph is the leader, they don't even understand what the actual workings of the movement are. So, well, you know, somebody says I confess I was a little frantic when I saw Peter's letter last night. But yeah, but don't be. That's kind of the point. You know, did everybody die? You know, here, let's do a show of hands in the chat room. 40 users at this moment in the chat room. Not reflective, obviously, of everybody listening. Is there anybody in the chat room right now who's going to suddenly stop valuing the resource-based economy model because Peter is taking a break? Anybody? 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 Okay. Now, since that's not getting any reaction because obviously that was kind of a rhetorical question, is there anybody in the chat room who is going to continue doing what they were going to do anyway? Anybody? Okay. All right. Cool. That's kind of what I thought. Right. See, no, of course not. Right. Okay, so don't contribute to the hysteria. People are trying to do a psyop right now. They're trying, you've seen Psywar. Right now, there are people trying to essentially pull the same kind of garbage you see in the economic hitman work. They're trying to get everybody to panic or to get everybody to think a certain thing that just is not true. Critical and analytical thinking is the best defense, folks. And think about it. The facts weigh up. The movement's not going anywhere. Period. That's it. And again, I have people waiting for me, and the show is almost over anyways. This is only a 15-minute segment. Please feel free to upload this to YouTube. Please feel free to spread it everywhere. Get this viral. I mean, period. Get this viral, because I'm tired of this crap. Spread the blog. Spread the blog with it, too. You can find that at v-radio.org. Take responsibility for ending this ridiculous hysteria. Period. Okay? Good job, folks. I'm going to be gone all weekend, so now I'm counting on all of you to keep this ship from sinking, because right now, it's like people are panicking about a water shortage on the ship, so they're paling water into the deck to try to fix that, and they're going to sink the ship over something stupid. Get my point? Take care, folks.